If we're waiting for these physical things to happen to somebody, yeah, those can produce the emotions that would bring that willingness to change, but the bottom is defined by the emotions, not that physical circumstance around it. You'll see what you might call high bottom drunks, lower bottom drunks. The biggest correlation with bottom is going to be those emotions. Ending up in jail, ending up in the hospital, a wife leaving you, a job firing you, all those could bring you to the bottom. Whenever I started to run out of food, whenever I started to run out of money, or I wasn't going to be able to make it to work, or whatever the circumstance may be, all I needed to do was call my family and they would fix that for me. You know, Mom she wanted to see me fed. And all that did for me was it perpetuated that cycle of addiction going much longer. I like to say that there's soft bottoms and there's hard bottoms. The emotions, the feeling alone, the despair, the anger, the emotions that come along with that addiction, my family, my friends, they can shield me from those kinds of bottoms. They can rush in, they can feed me, they can give me money, they can give me emotional support and make me feel better in that moment. Of course, they thought they were helping. I thought they were helping me. But the only thing they did was prevent me from hitting the bottom by myself. They left one possibility for me, which was hard bottom. Those are the bottoms you can't control no matter how much you love somebody, no matter how much money you have, no matter how much desire you have to help them. There's the ending up in prison. There's the morgue. There's the hospital. There's very difficult bottoms for somebody to hit. And the family cannot control those or protect them from them. When I'm helping somebody with the addiction, am I taking away the easy consequences of their addiction and only leaving them with the idea that they can hit hard consequences that I can't control? We take away the easy consequences and we leave that only possibility of the very hard consequences. Oftentimes you can't even bail us out. When we end up in the morgue, you can't fix that. So when we talk about somebody hitting bottom, again, that's the emotional state, not the physical one. But we're always going to be those creatures of comfort. For a long time, I didn't want to go to treatment because I was much more comfortable in my addiction. I had a place, I had food, I had a job, I had a little bit of income. I was so much more comfortable in that. And there's no way I'd be an idiot to want to go to treatment. There was nothing in my life that was going to cause that motivation to get help. I had to stop being protected from the consequences of my addiction, because if my addiction wasn't going to hurt me, I didn't know it was a problem. So letting somebody hit bottom, because you hear people tell you all the time, you got to kick them out, you got to write them off, stop taking their calls, ignore them, leave them out until they're ready to get help. Now there's a big difference between setting healthy boundaries with somebody and going into full-blown tough love. So no, you don't necessarily have to kick them out and write them off, but what we do have to do is make the current circumstance, their current situation, much more uncomfortable than going to treatment. If I'm warm and I'm fed and I'm comfortable and I've got that beautiful refrigerator that's just always full of food and that Wi-Fi connection that my phone just always connects to and I never have to do a darn thing for it, there's no way I'm going to go to a treatment program in that circumstance. Whenever I'm having a hard day, I have somebody there that loves me, that's going to take care of me and make me feel better. No, I'm not going to treatment like that. The data and the research is out there. It shows we don't figure this out by ourselves. Very few people struggling with addiction are going to get clean all on their own. You've probably been waiting for a long time for them to make that decision. So what I really encourage you to do is look at, what am I protecting them from? Is it just the immediate crisis, or is it the long term of addiction? Let them hit those softer bottoms. Let them spend the night in jail. Let them be uncomfortable. Just like raising a little kid. You want them to fall down and scrape their knees a little bit. No, you don't want them to be seriously hurt. But we have to let that addiction run its course at least enough, while at the same time make it very clear that that lifeline of treatment is available. That if you want to get fed, it's at the program. We're giving you food, it's in a treatment program. We're giving you a place to stay, it's in that treatment program. But until you're ready to make those decisions, we're giving you the emotional support. But until you're ready to make those decisions to go and get help, we can't work harder for your recovery than you are. it's time to start considering bringing in a professional interventionist. Now, a lot of families I talk to are very nervous about bringing in an outside influence or an outside interventionist to come and help them, because what is a stranger going to say to my kid that I can't say myself to get them willing to get help? The decision to go to treatment is always an emotional decision. It's not a logical one. In my addiction, if I was thinking logically, I would have made it to treatment 10 years before I did. It's always an emotional decision. And when you're wrapped up in that dynamic, you're not going to see it clearly. Getting somebody who doesn't want help to go to treatment isn't the direct goal. What we have to do is change the circumstances around that addiction. Let that addiction have the impact that it needs to have on them so that they can feel what having an addiction truly feels like. Because if you protect us from those consequences, we will never feel our addiction. You will. You will continue to hit bottom for us so that we can't do it ourselves. So we've got to take a step back. Make that clear offer for help. If you're looking into this, consider a professional interventionist. And then take the step back and let the addiction run its course. Because as soon as they're uncomfortable enough, they will go into that treatment program. But if you continue to pick them up from that bottom so that they can't hit, it's not likely they'll ever go. Because in the truest sense, that's what enabling is. What am I doing to hit bottom for my loved ones so that they can't do it themselves?
Please feel free to comment, like, or subscribe to our channel.